reproductive and child health, which is a major preoccupation, including, of course, maternal, infant, and young child nutrition.
As the 18 Peace Corps volunteers prepare for service in the interior Gambia, this was the general message directed to them. Go to your new sites, help change someone's life, and in the process, your life will be changed. For GRTS News, I am Winifred Nicole Hadibe.
And one of Africa's leading singers pays tribute to the late Nelson Mandela, whose remains arrived in his birthplace on Sunday's burial, and the son of Mali's president on the campaign trail ahead of the second round of legislative elections. More on those stories and others after this short break. Welcome back. A week-long official tribute in honor of the late South African president has ended, and the remains of the late Nelson Mandela has arrived in his birthplace in Kunu, where he will be buried on Sunday. Earlier in Pretoria, comrades of Madiba in South Africa's liberation struggles paid their last respects to their hero. We have details in this report.
It was 1:30. Plane carrying Nelson Mandela's remains landed in Tata Airport. His coffin was escorted by veterans of the ANC's armed wing on the last leg of the journey. The airport is 30 kilometers from Kunu, where Nelson Mandela was born and where he will be buried on Sunday. People started lining the roads at dawn to pay their last respects.
I'm sad. On the other side, I'm happy because he did many things for us as children of South Africa. So we're grateful for that.
For me now is to be in heaven, because God take all the best people to heaven now.
Earlier in Pretoria, ANC leaders also paid their last tributes. South Africa's national flag was replaced by that of the ANC, Nelson Mandela's banner, as he fought to end apartheid. Nelson Mandela's widow, Graça Machel, and his former wife, Winnie Mandela, were present, along with Nelson Mandela's former comrades from the Communist Party and the Kasatu trade union.
Please travel safely.
We'd like to say to Madiba, go well, Tata. We have played a part, we have made a contribution.
A week of official tributes has ended. Nelson Mandela will be buried next to his parents and 3 of his children on Sunday in Kinu, in a traditional ceremony where only his family and selected leading personalities will attend.
Mandela's life has been celebrated by people the world over, and many, particularly musicians, ensured his life in prison at the notorious Robben Island jail was not spent in solitude. One of the continent's music icons, the Senegalese superstar Youssou N'Dour, says Mandela's story inspired him. We have more in this report.
In 1986, apartheid was a way of life in South Africa, and the world dealt with it as such. In Senegal, young singer Youssou N'Dour sang about a political prisoner whose face was largely unknown, locked up since 1963. The South African freedom fighter inspired the young Senegalese musician.
C'est l'image de que c'est possible.
Mandela transmitted the message that it was possible. Mandela told us it is possible to reach the top of the world from Africa. That's what he told us. Now when I begin something, I have no complexes about dealing with the Americans or anyone else.
I want to make it like him.
Youssou N'Dour says that when Nelson Mandela was head of state in South Africa, he thanked him for his earlier support. Mandela's humility only strengthened N'Dour's admiration. Mandela was a role model for several generations of Africans.
My fight was never only national. My activity was always on a pan-African level. My inspiration came from Nelson Mandela. My biggest project is New Africa. It's a map of Africa, not simply sectors of it. And he inspired me with all of this.
For N'Dour, the association with Mandela will remain forever. He named his last son Nelson. And he may once again sing about him now that he is back in the music scene after stepping down as culture minister.
Malians are set to return to the polls on Sunday in the second round of legislative elections. One of the candidates vying for a seat in Bamako is Karim Keita, the son of President Ibrahim Abubakar Keita. Many critics of the government say the results of the first round of voting was reached. We have details in this report.
A bit of music to try and motivate people to turn out in local elections in Mali, which so far have drawn little interest. In a festive atmosphere, Karim Keita is trying to bring his supporters together in a voting district in the Malian capital, Bamako. Karim Keita is the son of President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita, who was elected in August. Karim is now hoping to win enough votes to take a seat at the National Assembly, which was made vacant after his father moved on to become president. This is the first time in recent Malian history that the child of the head of state has run for political office.
It doesn't bother me. I'm proud to be my father's son. Now, to be a candidate, as I said, fortunately, because it's neither an ordinance or a decree. I'm asking for the people to put me in public office in my country. It's as simple as that.
In the first round of voting in November, Karim Keita came in ahead of his rivals with 44% of the vote. Now, President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita's son is expected to win in the runoff vote, which will take place on Sunday. But the opposition has contested the results of the first round of voting in this district, as well as others. Soumaïla Cissé lost out to Ibrahim Boubacar Keita in the presidential election, but he won a seat as a deputy in the first round of legislative elections.
In any case, it's possible that the vote is stained by manipulation. Everything is set for the RDM to get the absolute majority in this election.
A victory for the Rally for Mali party would enable President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita to get through the reforms he promised the Malian people during his presidential campaign. But the Union for the Republic and Democracy needs a majority in the National Assembly in order to ensure that its leader becomes the head of the opposition parties.
In the current setup, nothing proves how the voting transfer will really go, because it has been calculated on the candidates' level, not based on the votes themselves.
There was very low turnout for the first round of voting in legislative elections on November 24th. The United States and the European Union are calling on the Malian people to come out en masse to vote in the second round on Sunday.
We now take a second break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We join our colleagues at the Weather Center for the day's weather outlook.
And from there, everything follows. And for those of us who know what the River Gambia stands for, understanding its sustainability in all aspects of life is easily confirmed. The River Gambia provides nutritious delicacies as food, while it provides its wildlife a balanced ecosystem.